Staying alive.
Staying alive. Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
This is DTNS Live for Thursday, January 9th, 2025, from Studio Animal House, where we are safe from fires. I'm Sarah Lane.
In Las Vegas, Nevada, still at CES 2025, I'm Tom Merritt.
Deep in the heart of Texas, I'm Justin Robert Young.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Daily Tech News Show Live is made possible by you. You are like Atlas, all of you, like thousands of versions of you molding together in one to lift us up and make us into a show. That includes Chris Smith, Mark Gibson, Reed Fischler, and two brand new patrons since yesterday. We had so many we talked about yesterday, but Ace Cat and Paul. Everybody welcome Ace Cat and Paul.
Yay!
Good to have you, friends.
Indeed. Well, welcome to DTNS Live, everybody. This is the show where we discuss the tech news to help us all understand it a little bit better. How's everyone doing? Tom, you're on the last day of CES. How you feeling?
Does the phrase "out of the frying pan" not apply here? Because literally, I'm headed back to Los Angeles this evening. But thankfully, we'll be talking about that a little later in the show. It's been an interesting CES. It's been fun to do this with Rob and Amos here live, and we had a meetup yesterday and got to see a bunch of folks. Big thanks to Ken, who showed up and then raised his Patreon immediately after. I guess he had a good time. Thank you, Ken.
That's excellent. And you guys were at Resorts World. Did you do the loop?
No, we didn't think about it. We were silly. Someone told us, like, you could have taken the loop. We're like, oh yeah, that's right. We should have done that.
I don't know, man. That loop.
I've taken it before. I just didn't get a chance to.
From the videos I've seen, I'm like, it's a little claustrophobic. For my
Oh,
taste.
it's fine. It's like a very well. It's like a poorly built haunted house. But it's Teslas driving through it.
What's not to like?
If anybody doesn't know what the loop is, it's a bunch of Teslas autonomously driving through an underground tunnel between the Las Vegas Convention Center arms and a couple of hotels like the Fontainebleau and the Resort World. So I did it once and it was fine, Sarah. It's kind of like a long Marin tunnel.
Yeah. I did it back and forth when I was for DEF CON. Yeah. I was at Resorts World and I just looped it.
It's like
looped it every day.
Cul-de-sac tunnel that loops.
Yeah. I used a word that don't mean nothing, like looped.
Well,
they put the security at the exit of the loop at LVCC. Like you could not come out of the loop without going through security. It was, It was very interesting. Yeah.
Well, we're glad you came out of it okay, Tom.
Thank you.
You and Rob and Amos have been holding it down at CES all week, and we've got some CES news to get through. But first, let's start with the news in general.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great news submitted through our subreddit today at subreddit.com/r/Daily Tech News Show. Start with Mojang. Videoland, maker of the open source VLC video player, showed off a new automatic AI subtitling and translation feature here at CES, generated locally and offline in real time. So AI-powered subtitling has already been capable by using a plugin on OpenAI's speech recognition system Whisper, but this new demo appears to be built directly into the VLC app and generates translated subtitles in real time. They say they'll have support for up to 100 languages. No word on when you'll be able to get it in your version of VLC. Not quite yet.
Lion Jim Video also submitted something to our subreddit. It's been a lively subreddit today, so thank you to everybody for that. But thank you to Jim Video. In a statement Wednesday evening, Apple denied using Siri recordings for advertising, saying that it never builds marketing profiles, it doesn't share data with advertisers, and it doesn't sell user information. Now, this follows Apple paying a $95 million settlement over accidental Siri recordings. But the company says, no, we are not admitting to wrongdoing. We just want the problem to go away. Apple also clarified that it retained audio is opt-in only and only used to improve Siri.
And Chaz Basden alerted us to this one. Parking tycoon Frank McCourt's Project Liberty says it has made a formal offer to acquire ByteDance's U.S. TikTok assets. ByteDance is not required to take that bid. It probably won't take that bid. In fact, CBS News is reporting that ByteDance has said it will just shut down TikTok if it doesn't win its Supreme Court case or get a stay before January 19th. That case starts Friday, January 10th. The distribution ban on TikTok goes into effect January 19th.
Smart lock makers got some, got a little creative at CES this year. Slage's Sense Pro Smart Deadbolt and Utech's Ultra Lock Bolt Mission, both featuring ultra wideband or UWB technology for hands-free unlocking when paired with a smartphone. Now, there are other locks. Lockly Secure Pro is one of them. Promises Apple Home hands-free support, while palm scanners and digital peephole equipped models also emerged. Seems to be a new emerging place for people who like a smart home. These devices aim to deliver seamless access. Their success, however, depends on reliable, secure performance when they hit the market later this year.
And Ubisoft announced it's hired advisors to explore strategic and financial options. That's code for sale. This is amid ongoing speculation about a buyout by the Guillemot family or Tencent. The company's challenges include delayed game launches, declining stock prices, criticism over monetization efforts. Ubisoft is also trying to cut costs by over 200 million euros by 2026 to improve its financial position and capitalize on its gaming franchises.
All right, Tom, I know you've been in Vegas all week, but I'm holding down the fort here in LA, as is Roger and as is Eileen Rivera. It's been a little touch and go because we've had some pretty dramatic fires. When I say pretty dramatic, I don't even know if I'm doing it justice. It's been pretty crazy. So we've gotten some tips from folks who want to help us.
Stealth Dave wrote, I was happy to hear that Tom, Sarah, Roger, and the LA area team haven't had to evacuate due to the fires burning in their areas. Our family had to evacuate yesterday. All pets and people are safe. And I wanted to share some of the tech resources that I use to keep track of the fires. And by the way, I immediately reached out to Stealth Dave and was like, hey, if you need a place to go or someone to talk to, let us know. He's good. He's found a good area to be in. Their house is okay. They have smart cameras that they're looking at, and they're like, it seems like we're going to be okay. So if you're immediately worried about Stealth Dave like I was, he reassured us that they're doing all right, but they did have to leave their house. Stealth Dave said, on my phone, I started using Watch Duty, which is available for Android and iOS. You can select the county or counties that you want to get alerts for. You get updates from locally vetted sources as well as maps of evacuation areas. They also have a website if you don't want to use the app. And then in his web browser, he's using the official websites from the state of California and LA County and something called Wildfire Aware that he's actually using through the mapping company. I'm looking for the ArcGIS. That's the name of it, ArcGIS. They have live maps of the fire showing where the hotspots are. He found that site to be the most informative in knowing where the fire is at any given moment. I found out about Watch Duty from Eileen. She was seeing people talking on X about it and asked me about it. So I went digging to be like, okay, is this one of those, people spreading, citizen reports that may or may not be reliable? And
right.
It's not.
Or coming from actual firefighters.
This is coming from actual firefighters. It's a 501c3 nonprofit group of active and retired firefighters, dispatchers, and first responders. It's not crowdsourced. So this is all people who've passed a background check to join this nonprofit effort. And they just monitor radio scanners. I'm sure they're looking at some of the website reports and updates too, but they're sitting there, they're monitoring radio scanners. They speak the language. They translate it into language we all can understand, and they post it to Watch Duty in real time. They say from their website, our mission is to publish only the facts that provide true situational awareness in case of emergency without editorialization or prediction.
It's funny that you mentioned Watch Duty because I guess it was yesterday. I don't know. Everything feels like it's been 100 days since the last day. But
yeah, right.
yeah, in this yesterday morning in LA, my power had gone out. I'm at a neighborhood cafe. I mean, so I'm still safe, but obviously displaced in some sense. And I asked some friends who are in LA as well, like what's everybody watching? Because I feel like half the stuff I'm seeing on CNN or whatever is not even. It's either like sensationalized or not updated to the minute.
Yeah.
And I want that.
It's relevant to someone who lives on another continent who's interested in what's happening, not relevant to you on the ground right there. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was, somebody said watch duty. Oh yeah, you got to do watch duty. I had never heard of that before. And I mean, I sleep with my my Apple Watch on. If there is an alert that requires me to evacuate my house, I'm going to get that alert. Hopefully, I'll wake up. But yeah, watch duty seems to be a very good option.
And there is a web component to it that we have on the screen right now, and it collates all the monitoring cameras so you can look within your vicinity. And
see like live pictures.
Yeah.
And that. Yeah.
I mean, it's as live. Some of the refresh rates on the cameras are a little slow.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But
it's not live streamed, but they do.
It is very, very well presented, vetted information. And that is something that is exceptional. I'm very glad that there's a tool out there. And obviously, when you are in a disaster like this, which is unlike other disasters like an earthquake, which is fast but unexpected, a hurricane, which comes and goes, but you have a sense of when things are going to hit. This is ongoing. It is unpredictable. And especially in our world where we are demanding of information, good, nutritious information is better than garbage. And I know everybody is afraid. All the love to everybody that is listening in the Southern California area, including everybody that is on this panel with me. But do yourself a favor and try to keep your mechanism as clean as possible from stuff. And this is a good step forward. It's a cleanly designed map that you can just take a look at to see whether or not facts have changed from the last time you updated yourself.
The other ones that I've been using and recommending Eileen to use too is stay off of TikTok.
Yes.
Eileen is not doing that, but she is like, I'm only looking at people who are actually live, and I can tell they're really live because I'm curious what they're doing. But my alternative would be LAFD. LAFD.org is the Los Angeles Fire Department, and if you live there, sign up for LAFD.org alerts. They will push out an emergency alert to everybody, whether you sign up or not, if there's an immediate evacuation or something. But if you sign up for the alerts, you'll get more alerts. They're not spammy. They're not doing marketing. But you will get more preparatory things if you opt into them. And then Bodie Grimm, who was on the show earlier this week, is a firefighter. So I kind of ran some of this stuff by him. I just wanted to see if he'd heard of Watch Duty or not and whether he thought it was valid. He went and spoke with the LAFD, and they said that CAL FIRE is in command of the fire. So if you're looking at the state of California's website, which is fire.ca.gov, they're the incident commanders. So you're going to get information there that is coming straight from the people in charge of fighting this thing. But of course, he reminded us that the biggest thing is to listen to what officials are recommending and follow those recommendations, of course.
There's also, I know that a lot of people want to say like, oh, well, there's going to be so much misinformation and like AI videos that didn't, that never really happened. I've seen some of that online, and I think people should, just like keep your wits about you when it comes to that sort of stuff. But for the most part, I think the LA fire devastation is so vast that mostly people are just trying to help each other.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's an ongoing tragedy. And like any kind of ongoing tragedy or disaster, misinformation is going to be a part of it. You're going to hear a lot of rumors. You're going to hear a lot of innuendo. You're going to hear a lot of things that are like tongue wagging crazy. Restrict your data inflow. to things that you can trust.
Exactly.
That would be my only recommendation.
Great example is yesterday, Eileen was like, there's a fire in Studio City now, which is closer to where we live.
Yeah.
And I said, where are you hearing it? And she was like, it's the news. It's the local news. I'm like, okay, but that doesn't mean it's a fire. Is it a structure fire? And then we went to the LAFD incident site.
Yep.
We looked at, we're like, okay, it's a structure fire. Doesn't mean it won't turn into something worse. Thankfully, it did not. But
Yeah.
that calmed us right down. Versus if we'd been looking on social media, people would have been saying, "Oh my gosh, it's now spread to Studio City," which it
Right,
hadn't.
yeah, like North Hollywood is on flames.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that kind of thing.
The other thing that Bodie recommended is Red Cross. If you're in the area and you need help, Red Cross has hotlines. The LAFD has a good general public information line. He also passed along 2 firefighter websites that he used that have some interesting perspectives if you want a deeper look into how firefighters are viewing the challenge of fighting these fires. That's firehouse.com and fireengineering.com. And we'll have all the Red Cross information in our show notes as well.
All right, Justin. You know, it's not a fire, but maybe it is
No.
sort of a fire of another sense. When anything comes to what Meta is doing these days, Instagram and Threads changing how they display political content from accounts that you don't follow. Previously, as a user, you could toggle that on or off. Starting in the US this week, changes 3 settings. So we've got less, we've got standard, or we have more.
Yeah.
You want the fire hose, or do you want less of the fire hose? So what are you thinking?
Let's go with raging rapid instead of fire hose for
That's a
right
good one. I like that. Water is important.
Yeah. So obviously, look, Meta is in the news because of the Zuckerberg announcement that happened at the beginning of the week. There is obviously a lot changing within that company. Dana White coming on as a board member, for example. All that being said, I am of the belief that this is not something that was materially changed by the result of the election that happened last November. I think that this was probably going to happen no matter what. There was a sense from Meta that they didn't want to be tagged as changing the election, tipping the election, that was going to bring attention onto them that they did not want, they were not seeking. And so they'd rather stay out of the fray than enter into it, even if it meant higher engagement, which is theoretically their business. So as, you know, the chattering class has decided that they did not turn the election, Joe Rogan did, then now they're willing to say, step out of the shadows a little bit and say, okay, sure, look, whatever you want to engage in, we're here to help you engage in it. I just don't think that this is necessarily, obviously it's going to get looped in with everything that happened over the last few days. I just think this was kind of a rubber band that was going to snap back at the end of this season, no matter what.
So is this the kind of thing that you think would bring you over to Threads more? Because I know you have been insistent that your audience is still on X because that's a news place.
No, nothing's going to bring me to Threads. But no, I'm sorry. Something will bring me to Threads. Accidentally clicking on something in Instagram, that brings me to Threads. That is what brings
Quite
me
often,
to Threads.
several times a
There
day.
are a variety of folks who have left X for Threads.
God bless them. I am not here to say that
you would follow some of their, their content.
as was said on Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that. Everybody is allowed to go on the microblogging platform of their choice. I am not shaming anybody for doing anything. It is just not for me personally, except to check what Brett Rounsaville said, because he's probably the only person that definitely has not come back to X and whose opinion I care about.
The only reason I ask, or not the only reason, but one of the reasons I ask is that I think Threads is doing this and Instagram is doing this because they realize that they are gaining some ground on X. If they have a shot of actually, competing with them, they are going to need that journalistic element. And if they're going to get that journalistic element, they have to do this.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying whether it will work or not, but it's a necessary step.
So this is beyond Threads or X or anything like that. My theory of the internet is that all of these kind of communities form for various different reasons, and I don't know if you are ever going to succeed trying to build the exact same thing that X has built, Twitter had built, right? Twitter was built on the idea of live news breaking, live news plus commentary. That is their bread and butter, right? Is Threads ever going to be that? I don't know. I think Threads or Mastodon or Blue Sky or anything else that comes along will probably be better defined by their own reason to exist. Like every message board has their own reason to exist that then attracts and populates power users that provide that content for looky-loos that come in and kind of build the community that we have seen. Now, Threads has, and like all of Meta, right? So Instagram and all that stuff, they will continue to have a decision on whether or not they are going to restrict certain speech and whether or not that creates a better community for the people that are on there. But, you know, I think I would not foresee something coming up that is exactly like Twitter. I guess that would be what I would say.
Well, it's funny because, you know, talking about, you know, where do people lie these days when it comes to social networks?
You mean tell untruths, or where are they using the platform?
Where do they lay their head?
Where do they
their
lay?
Digital head?
Where do they lay in their bed? But you know, back in the day, it was Twitter, and maybe it was Facebook. You know, they were two different places, but like it was Twitter. And now you have lots of options. And I think that's a good thing. I think, you know, we all can decide, like, where's my community? Where, you know,
yes.
where is where I, you know, where I want to share things and where I want things to be shared with me, with the community that I curate for myself. That is a good thing. That said, it's just different. It's different than the way that, you know, in the LA fires, you know, like 2 nights ago, if this thing would have blown up in the Palisades, where would I go? Twitter. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I wouldn't go to, you know, cable news. I wouldn't look on a website. I would go to Twitter because I know that people would be on the ground doing that.
That there are terminally online sickos who would be providing you the raw data that you needed.
Exactly.
And
For better or for worse.
Threads wants those sickos on their platform. They do.
Yeah.
That's what this says to me. It may or may not be a good idea, or it may or may not be something that's even going to work, but they are saying, you know what? We thought we could differentiate ourselves by being the place that didn't have political content. That's why in 2023 we said it's not worth the scrutiny. Justin's right. They also didn't want to get blamed for any way an election went one way or the other. Mosseri on Wednesday is like, it proved impractical to draw a red line around what is not political content, which is true. It was also true in 2023, and it didn't seem to bother them. He also said it's hard to please everybody with your categorization of what isn't and isn't political, and people want it. So it's popular. Now, that one you could make an argue of, like, when they downgraded it, they realized, oh, people are going in and opting in at a higher rate than we expected. They must want this. I think they probably also knew that in 2023 too, though, don't you?
Yeah, but again, I think, but to your point, Tom, and I am going to agree with you here, it just shows that they tried to say, oh, it's a value add. Here is a microblogging platform that is less political. Won't it be nice? Because that's part of the appeal of Instagram.
Sounds
right?
Great, right? Yeah,
Instagram has that element of like, oh, this is a little bit less. Everything has to be about red team versus blue team. Everything has to be about the president. Everything has to be about the thing of the moment in the way that Twitter is. Now it's more about vacations and dogs and bikini pictures.
And
like,
looking perfect.
Exactly. Like, and scones, like all the things that we like that aren't political. And so I think they wanted Threads to be that. Obviously, it dovetailed in with the time where political discourse was going to be at its most volatile. And now, I don't know if they're going to find it. I just kind of feel like Threads in general, and all of my snarky haterism aside, it does feel like Threads is just a part of Instagram that probably would benefit from being closer integrated. Like, maybe Threads is really just extended.
It's pretty closely integrated.
Yeah, but think about it more in a way that it's like, is Threads really just a feature of Instagram where it's extended captions, right? That if any caption that you're writing is over a certain thing, or it is obviously kind of disconnected, this is maybe the extra space and shareability that you would otherwise have it. I don't know. I just wonder about whether or not we need something else that is exactly like Twitter. Maybe it would be benefited by the fact that it is connected to this larger platform.
I mean, I think it's a lot closer to Twitter than it is to Instagram. When I go to threads.net and, see what's going on for all the people I'm following, like, it's very Twitter-esque.
Well, but also Instagram isn't Instagram anymore. Instagram to me is
I know,
basically
that's
TikTok.
true.
It doesn't show me any friends or family that I follow. It's all viral clips from other podcasts.
That's what they want to do with Threads, which is why they had to make this change so they can make Threads the same way and just show
Make
you
Threads
things they
old
think you-
Instagram. All right, here.
Make Threads
Instagram
old
now will be
Instagram
TikTok. Make Threads old Instagram, and then make another thing that is like Twitter. How about that?
I'm signing up for Lemonade. That's what ByteDance wants you to do anyway.
Well, I mean, if TikTok's going to go away in the US, you might as well do that.
In the meantime, we have a very simple way to get in touch with us on social media. Go to @DTNS Show. Go to @DTNS Show. Maybe you're on X, maybe you're on Instagram, maybe you're on Threads, maybe you're on Blue Sky, maybe you're on Mastodon. Go to @DTNS Show. We don't use it on TikTok because it's getting shut down anyway. But TikTok and YouTube is Daily Tech News Show. So, you could go find us there as well.
All right, let's talk about streaming numbers, shall we? Disney said Wednesday it had an estimated 157 million global monthly active users watching ad-supported content across its streaming platforms. That's, Disney Plus, but also Hulu, ESPN Plus. It includes 112 million users domestically in the U.S. and is an average per month over the last 6 months. That's what the average is. Metrics can be confusing, to say the least. We are in a new era of finding out who is watching or listening to anything, where and when. This particular one from active accounts across Disney's 3 streaming services that have viewed ad-supported shows and movies continuously for more than 10 seconds. So if you watch a show for 12 seconds, did you watch the show? Certainly not. But that's where some of these numbers start to become interesting for people who are paying attention to the stuff.
Yeah, this is 10 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. They all have different versions of that's what's going to count a view. It doesn't mean that everybody, all 157 million, only watch 10 seconds.
Right.
It just means they had to set a limit somewhere. But people always ask that, like, well, how long is a view? So it's worth clarifying that. 157 million is more than the total number of Disney Plus subscribers that they announced back in November. So I feel like this is Disney saying, we've got ads everywhere. This is to the advertisers to say,
Yes.
Don't worry. If you buy an ad, I know we've got those people who pay for no ads, but guess what? They still get ads when they watch live stuff. They still get ads when they watch a few different things here and there. So be on the lookout for it.
And this is return of television to the ad market, right? We saw over the last 20 years the once gold standard of advertising, broadcast television, cable television, slowly erode bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, all giving away their money to these very targeted systems like Google, like Facebook, the kings of advertising in their age. And now, look at what's happening. Free ad-supported television puts these kind of players. Now, the players have changed, although a lot of the parent companies are the same. Disney used to own ABC, and now they're selling it on Disney Plus and Hulu and stuff like that. But we're talking about everything old is new again, Tom. It's all, now we're talking about television with ads. We're talking about these live bundles that are essentially the same prices as cable, and everybody wants to be the new bundle player. They want to sell you different add-ons to everything. It's so funny. We went all the way out into the wilderness only to come right back home. Very Campbellian.
Very Campbellian? Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it's a hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is different, and I think people love to lean into like, oh, nothing changed. It is very Campbellian, and we did come back in a large way to things that people hoped would go away. I often hear people say that we were promised Netflix would never have ads. Netflix never promised you that. You just liked that they didn't have it and made that a
You were
feature.
promised discs in the mail.
Yeah,
and free
exactly.
postage.
Oh, I mean,
That's what you were promised.
When YouTube first launched, it was $50 per month. Now it's almost
Oh,
100.
YouTube TV. Yeah.
YouTube TV, but
Right.
all the price on that package was always going up. Anyway, Tom,
But the price
continue.
of cable TV is also still really big too.
Yeah.
So YouTube TV, as much as it's raised its price, Sarah, is still cheaper than a non-discount cable
That's
introductory
true,
subscription.
But it used to be like significantly cheaper to the point where you're like,
Yeah.
this is disruption.
but
That's
that
because they
was-
were trying to get
Is
users.
it?
They were trying to get as many people to sign up as possible.
were
They were
getting to
always
know
going to
you
raise.
prices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I find all of this sort of fascinating just because I am somebody like many other folks who I want to subscribe to the stuff that really, really matters, where I can't get it anywhere else. YouTube TV, which I mentioned earlier, is a great way for me to get like cable. It's cable. That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. If you want to do something like NFL Sunday Ticket, you got to pay extra for that. So I don't think I think that like let's say 5 years ago we were in a situation where it was like, wow, you can do a la carte programming. You just pay for the stuff that you want. You don't have to do all that funny mumbo jumbo cable stuff. We're kind of back there.
Also, 5 years ago, people were complaining you couldn't get everything from the a la carte options because they weren't
Of
actually a
course.
la carte
Yeah.
options. They were additional options. So YouTube TV is cable, except you can cancel it without having to stay on the line for 30
Yes.
minutes with somebody.
That's
YouTube
correct.
TV is cable, but also when I signed up, my sister-in-law in Union City, California, immediately got access in her region without them arguing, wow, she's not really in your house. So, there's a lot of differences and a lot of
Family
flexibility
plan
here
stuff.
too.
That
Yeah.
that actually that is
Look.
that is a good point.
When we went on this hero's journey of content, we did come back with new skills. Skills like easy cancellation.
Many of us
skills.
refused the call.
We did. Many refused the call, but eventually we went on a journey. We
Yep.
met with the goddess. We everything fell apart, and then we
the more
eventually
you-
found our
right.
our true goal back home where we had left initially. But what I really do find fascinating is that the new most valuable customer is the free ad-supported customer. There was a moment where what they wanted was the top end of the market. They wanted everybody to buy a ad-free subscription for $13 a month. And now, be it the economy, be it just where the larger industry is, we are no longer interesting to them. Well, or at least they figure they're going to get us one way or another. They just have
Yeah.
to come out with a new murder documentary, and eventually we're going to sign up. What they want is sit down for free, watch this content. You now have the ability to binge Only Murderers in the Building or The Bear. You're going to have to watch a bunch of Icy Hot ads, though.
As someone who is on a show right now that is offered both by subscription without ads and with ads in it for free, I can tell you that the appeal is the subscription people are steady. They don't
Yep.
go away. They stay subscribed. You can count on that revenue. It is harder to move the needle once you've reached a stasis level of subscribers. It's
Yes.
harder to continue to grow your subscribers. So they're very good for somebody like me who's like, I just want to keep things steady. I don't want to be in risk of losing anything. Advertising is the opposite. Advertising goes away at the drop of a hat, and you're like, oh crap, we have no money coming in for the next 6 months because there is no advertising. And then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, we got so much money because we got all this advertising. So for the more risk prone, it's the better bet. but it is riskier. And I think these companies are not saying they don't like one customer over the other. They're saying we're finding a lot of customers don't mind ads. That's what the fast services are teaching us. So let's figure out how to get the best of both worlds here.
And I will add that doing the ads does allow them to drop and dangle the $2 a month plans during Black Friday and get people to sign up.
You can lower the price of the subscription by putting ads in it, which makes it more attractive.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom, I know you're holding on the fort at CES. I think you're the last man standing at this point. But Roger, you've been following the best ofs. This happens every year at CES. It's, what does CNET, what is ZDNet, what is PC Mag, what is Mashable, what is Hacker kind of come away with the show saying this is the best of the show from what we've seen. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so Best of CES 2025 is an award that all these companies under the CNET group hand out in conjunction with the CTA. And the two products that stood out to me immediately was the Flint paper battery. Now, this is a rechargeable battery that is that uses a filler material of cellulose, the same stuff you find in wood and plant fiber, and this spacer is then filled, constructed with carbon nanotubes to basically turn them into electrodes to carry and hold the charge. So you don't need to make a traditional chemical battery with corrosive chemicals, whether it's lithium ion or even a lead acid battery. Or you don't need the thick, heavy housing around it to keep all that stuff contained. You have a nice, flexible material. Right now, it is relatively low powered, but they say it can scale up over time. The only disadvantage is that the material is relatively rip prone if you're not careful, like paper. But it does point a way to a more sustainable form of energy carriage than we have right now, where we use a cocktail of different chemicals.
So the big advantage here is the environment. Like these things biodegrade in 6 weeks if you just leave them out versus heavy metals that stay in the soil forever. But they have the downside of every battery tech I've ever covered in my life, which is they don't quite give the power you need yet, but they will, and then we wait.
And I mean, honestly, we did this with lithium ion. We went through nickel cadmium. We went through a bunch of nickel metal hydride, through a bunch of battery technologies, granted over 20 plus years, until we landed on a formula for lithium ion that, for the most part, doesn't catch on fire.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea here. I need to see it able to power my devices, and then I'm
file
100%
that under wait and see. Wait and see.
I will say it's one of those technologies that does have promise. It's not a practical one where I'm charging my cell phone or even my laptop. But hey, if there are some derivative technologies that come out of this that make it even if you can just make a disposable product that's electronic a little less hazardous, I'm all for it.
I'm giving it my Justin R. Young Neat Award.
What is neat?
It's just neat. It's neat.
Oh, neat. Neat. Not me.
Oh, you thought it was
You
not a Morgan Mindy.
You could meet it and find it neat. Yes, all good. All right, Roger, what's next?
Is the HMD, second product was the HMD Off-Grid, and this is this is a product that is a device that you use in conjunction with your cell phone, and it acts as a relay for both messaging and satellite messaging and GPS connection. You can set the GPS coordinates to broadcast at set intervals up to 5 recipients. So say if you need to send it, you work for a company or you're out camping and you want to make sure your loved ones and maybe the local forestry or ranger station has your coordinates, within every hour or so, they'll have it. $200. It's $200 for the device, and then their subscription on top. $15 a month. $140 a year for unlimited messages, check-in, and SOS services. Optional unlimited live tracking for $5 a month, with a one-time activation fee. And then there's and that's the unlimited plan. The Freedom plan, which is a little cheaper for a year time, is $80 for one-time payment with up to 350 texts and check-in messages. Optional unlimited live tracking for $5 a month, and then a one-time.
Which is the
activation
same
fee
as the
for
unlimited plan. The live
Yeah.
tracking is $5 a month, and the.
I mean,
activation
listen,
fee.
going with what's happening in LA right now, I can imagine that a lot of people who'd be like, satellite, do I care about satellite connectivity? Starlink, not for me. This, I think they're gonna sell a lot of these things.
It's a hotspot for satellite messaging. It's great. It's a decent price for this. Granted, like you say, Sarah, not everybody needs this all the time. Certainly, recent events have woken people up to maybe there might be a situation where
having an option. Yeah.
But this is, in fact, for people who do go off grid a lot, who do go out hiking, or people who live in Alaska, like Amos, our producer. He's pointing at himself right now. He's like, "Yeah, I want this." Where you have more areas where service can go away, and you want that backup option. It's the size of a key fob. Like it's not big.
Yeah.
It's
Very
nice,
lightweight.
nice. Yeah.
And even 5 or 6 years ago, something like this was at least easily 3 times the price for a similar service on top of the subscription fee.
And those
So,
would be built in. This is a device.
Yeah.
This you can share this among what'd you say? Five different devices.
up
so
to 5 recipients you can broadcast out those GPS coordinates.
Yeah.
So
it just reminds me of the early days of Wi-Fi hotspots, where you'd buy that puck from Verizon or Sprint or somebody, and then you could share it out among devices. It's great.
yeah, so those are my 2. And I was hoping to get maybe a beat on everyone else if they had their faves from the show.
Yeah, we mentioned the Honda Zero series in the quick hits. I was kind of taken by that series simply because it's good looking and it's going on sale. I know the Honda Afeela that they're making for Sony is also going on sale, and we don't have prices on the Zero series. And the Honda Afeela is $89,000. So maybe this is me going, well, I'm not paying $89,000 for the Sony Honda Afeela, but maybe I could afford the Zero series when they give us an idea. But it's interesting because they're running their own
currently, Tom, right?
Sure, yeah, I do. A very old Honda.
And it doesn't, it's not a CarPlay enabled car.
No,
right? So
it's a 2014.
Well,
It's
which
newer
is,
than my car.
2014. Yeah. Okay. I guess
That's 11 years ago.
Yep. But yeah, I love the idea of what I've seen for Asimo OS, for Honda lovers going forward.
Yeah, and where I was going with the Asimo OS, because they're running their own chipset, because they're running their own modified operating system, they're going to offer level 3. Level 3 means you get to ignore the wheel. Not you should pay attention. You can sort of look away, but be ready.
Touch it
you don't have to
30
keep your
seconds.
hand on the wheel.
Yeah.
No, you can legitimately and legally. This thing is certified that during optimum conditions, you can take a video call. You can watch a movie while your car is driving. Now, they're saying at launch that will only be for stop and go traffic. So it's only when you're on the highway and it's congested, it's just going to drive you, bumper to bumper traffic. But they said they will continue to get certifications and open that up for more situations as it goes. But even that, I think, is great. I thought that deserved best transportation from CNET's Best of CES. The other one is the Asus ZenBook A14, just because it's pretty. Only weighs 2.2 pounds. If you like the MacBook Air, but you want more ports and you don't care about using Windows or Mac, you get USB-C, USB-A, HDMI, Ethernet port. There's a phone jack in there. And it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite processor, 45 TOPS NPU. So it's going to be a Copilot Plus PC. It's going to have great battery life. OLED display looks great. And it's $1,099 and it's going on sale.
Woo!
It's only $1,000. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, compared to a Mac, right?
Yeah, no, that's a killer price point.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a very fond of my MacBook Air, which is an M1. So, it's long in the tooth in terms of, laptops, but that thing just cooks. It is totally fine. I do not need to to get a replacement. However, there are some limitations when it comes to the ports. So yes, to your point, Tom, this sounds like it is a great option for somebody who's like, well, I want, light, thin, not super expensive, but a robust laptop that I can use for a lot of things.
And they did some good things with the hinges too. So because it's so light, sometimes you get those light laptops, and they can be hard to open and close because they're too light. They did some work to make sure that it's easy to open and close and all of that. So it's well designed as well. That was another reason that I liked it. I feel like we talked about some of these other ones, like Best Gaming Lenovo Legion Go S. That's the one that runs Steam OS. Very early, I think on Monday, we talked about the Roborock with the robot arm that can pick up your laundry.
Yes.
Yes. Did you hear about that one, Justin?
I just looked at it when we were doing the doc here, but as somebody who his wife wrote in my inability to not pick up my dirty socks off the floor, this is very intriguing.
Yeah. I don't think we have a price on it, do we?
No, it's I think
it's one of those.
But it has 22,000 pascals of suction, which
what does that mean?
It's a lot of pascals, dog.
Pascals of suck? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's air pressure.
How does that compare to an actual vacuum?
It's considered to be the most powerful consumer.
Does it pass the Pascal Turing test of?
You don't have to know Pascal for this vacuum to work.
I was about to say something.
It's at the top end, right?
I was about to say something about milk, but that's pasteurized.
Right.
But
so it's if you bought a vacuum cleaner and it had 22,000 pascals of suction, that would be a very good vacuum cleaner. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So sometimes these robot vacuum cleaners get dinged for not having very good suction. I don't know. It's slow. I saw it in action. It like lumbers to pick up your laundry. But I guess the idea is that, and it doesn't have to just be laundry. It could be anything. It could be a kid's toy or whatever. But the idea is that you're not in the room while this thing's operating, and it's able to clean around things without having to leave a dusty spot.
That was my first thought as well when I saw the video. I was like, I mean, wouldn't you just like get things out of the way before you left the house and said,
"You
go"?
Fool! Of course not.
But at the same time, it's like this is all supposed to be sort of automated, right? Like you might not, I mean, you leave, you do your thing, you live your life.
You don't have to think about did I pick
this is I have to tell you, this is the double-edged sword of having a child with a robot vacuum cleaner. There's never more of a time in your life when you need a robot vacuum cleaner and you cannot use it because the amount of random crap that just ends up on your floor that would get caught up in it. Or so the idea that it could move things just to a pile somewhere in the corner, it'd be amazing. It'd be great. Give me all the pascals.
I feel like, it'll also like take the pressure off the parent.
Pressure.
Or, just sort of like, oh, crap. I left the toy right in the line of fire. That's going to happen. So
I know they had to have a category for best AI because that's everything at CES. It was interesting they gave it to NVIDIA Cosmos because there were so many other interesting uses. I was surprised how many uses of AI didn't fall into the bucket of, they just call a large language model sometimes, and guess what? It's ChatGPT. There were some really interesting uses. One was the BioLeg that I mentioned before, which is using machine learning to anticipate your movements in a prosthetic leg so that it is easy to walk around. And the founder and CEO of the company was wearing it. So that kind of use, and I saw a few other examples of that, seemed like a very compelling use. I guess they went with the Cosmos is the big, it's NVIDIA. It's going to have more impact on more situations because it can be fine-tuned for specific applications, and it's going to encourage more agentic uses of AI, which is where this is going right now. I'm curious, Justin, what you think of NVIDIA Cosmos getting that.
I mean, they are the leaders in the space for a reason, and there's a reason why they trade back and forth with Apple on, the market cap heavyweight title. So
the Ultralock Bolt mission getting best privacy or security. I mean, it could have gone to either one of those ultra wideband locks that you talked about earlier in the show, Sarah. But again, not just, you're near your lock so it unlocks. It's using some machine learning and computer vision to guess that you're trying to open the door.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. I'm curious how well it works in practice. How often is it going to not open when it should or open when it shouldn't? But that's deserving of something. I know you're a fan of the sleep gadgets, Sarah. What about the Oslo Sleep Buds, founded by Bose engineers that are just noise canceling for sleep? They're just earplugs that keep you sleepy.
Okay, so hear me out. So I wear earplugs not every night because luckily where my bedroom is in my apartment is quite quiet at night. But if I am, I don't know, on vacation with somebody who snores, there are a variety of reasons that I would wear earbuds. And that is literally to like knock out stuff. I don't know about the noise canceling sleep buds. I don't know.
It's just white noise.
Oh man, these are great. These are like,
I mean, then let me know, what I'm missing, because I'm like, I feel like, if I put in earbuds and go to sleep, then I'm fine.
Oh, I think you're gonna love these. It's just the extra oomph. It's not just blocking out the noise. It's giving you pleasing, relaxing noise that your brain says, num num num, dreamland,
like
here I come.
Stuff. Yeah, I got you. I don't really want that though. I don't know.
No?
Everybody's different.
Everybody is.
I'm not gonna try to tell anybody else how to sleep. I want to feel like I'm in a cocoon. I wear an eye mask. I put in, my earbuds, and it's like, bye world. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
You can customize the white noise to sound like a cocoon. Actually, you can customize it. I don't know if you can customize it to sound like a cocoon, but you could.
How would a cocoon sound?
I don't know. That's the problem.
I mean, there's a certain
the soundtrack to the movie
noise.
Cocoon.
You could. You just play it.
So speaking of just sort of like noise and getting rid of noise during work, during the day, sometimes I do put on like white noise just because I'm like, I don't want to hear the world. I need to focus. I need to do this thing for 2 hours. It's like, in my ears. I actually like that, but I can't sleep like that.
And B Shaman 3575 in our YouTube chat got him during the Kickstarter and says you can set different sounds and playlists and stuff, so it's not just the white noise.
Yeah, maybe like a nice ocean sound. Type
For
thing.
completeness, we should.
By the way,
mention
James Horner did the soundtrack to Cocoon. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, moving on.
For completion, the best TV was LG's G5 OLED TV. See our episode earlier this week for multiple references to that one. And then the best weird tech was the Kirin electric salt spoon. It uses a current to make your low sodium food taste saltier. They have showed this off at CES before. No, you couldn't try it. We did see it at one of the evening press events, but we were joking around earlier about whether you use restaurant solvents or a can of Barbasol or something. But no, they weren't doing that. But they are selling it in Japan. It is not yet available in the U.S. and it won best.
So I mean, on the surface, this is a thing that I would pay for. I do not like things being oversalted. I hate oversalted things, but I want it to sometimes taste salty.
Yeah, you can
some
dial it in
seasoning.
with this,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
You get 4 levels.
Yeah, here's the problem.
That's
You have to hold the spoon like you're a big old baby
Yeah, you
with
have to
like
hold
your
it this-
fist.
you have to hold it this
we all
way.
are.
And
hold them like
it's not available. So good. You
It's
love
available in
CES.
Japan. It's available in Japan.
I'm sorry,
It's not
it is
available
available in
Justin.
Japan. Salute to everybody in Japan. I want all my.
We see you, Josh.
all of our salaryman listeners, man, go out and get yourself a Kieran salt spoon and have yourself a hell of a time. But for us here stateside, boy, would we love to try it. We're not allowed to do it. So Kieran, get on it.
And until then, I'll use our salty.
I couldn't even try it here, and I was looking right at it.
I know. You had your baby hand, fist all ready
Give me
to
some
go.
watery ramen. I'm ready to eat that all up.
Oh, ramen is salty enough as it is. Are you kidding me? I don't need more salt. But yes, yeah, cool stuff. All right, let's check out the mailbag before we get out of here. Wesley had some thoughts on our viewer feedback conversation about AI and programming. Wesley says, in your recent episode, you mentioned people who don't know how to code probably aren't using AI to code all that much. I'm the rare exception, says Wesley. I use ChatGPT to code Python. I've developed a basic understanding of Python because of this. For example, I'll tell it to create a GUI to do XYZ. Then I run it. If it throws a traceback, I throw it back to GPT and it hopefully fixes it. One tip I found, says Wesley, if you do get a traceback, start a new chat before you give it the traceback, then re-give it the code. I don't know why this helps, but if you don't do this, it seems, at least from my experience, that it will create more tracebacks until your code is an absolute mess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wesley says, I actually used it to create a little weather app for my personal use. I integrated it, an API. And by the way, if you're doing this, it probably isn't the wisest idea to share your API key with ChatGPT.
Good reminder.
Wesley says, out of Gemini, Copilot, and GPT, I've found that GPT 4.0 to be the best at this.
Very nice. This actually reminds me of how I learned HTML, which was just looking at source code of web pages. He's basically just doing the equivalent, the modern equivalent, like tell it to make code and then look at the code and go, oh, that's how that works. That's pretty cool.
There's a lot of no code stuff. I would suggest bolt.nu, bolt.nu, and
Oh, cool.
you could just make little apps. You can make little websites. It's pretty
cool.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Justin, and thank you for being you and being with us today. What you got going on lately you want to tell folks about?
Well, if let's say you're a host of a tech podcast and you got yourself a little flight, a short one from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and maybe you'd like to take your mind off things, you can listen to the brand new episode of World's Greatest Con. Just came out before the end of the year. The story of Crazy Eddie, the 80s retailer that was running the biggest retail scam of his era, left him an international fugitive. It is all on World's Greatest Con. Crazy Eddie, part 1 and part 2.
I have a horrible confession, Justin.
You probably already listened to it.
Oh, I tore through it the minute it came out.
Why
It's
is that
so
a
good.
horrible confession?
Because he was, making this wonderful
I was using it
recommendation
as an example,
for me
yeah.
to use on my flight, and I'm like, I can't. Well, I could listen to it again. It might actually.
You
be
could
worth
listen to it
listening
again and pick up
yeah.
all the awesome subtleties of my production.
Yes, exactly. But it's a great story, folks. So I could not stop listening to it once I started it. Go check it out, World's Greatest Con. During the show, folks have been submitting some show titles. Let's go over to showbot.tv/DTNS. If you're in our Discord or in our Twitch chat, you can submit them. Anybody can vote on them during the show. Showbot.tv/DTNS. Batfake 2001 has, you've made your thread, now lie on it.
Yeah, I like that one.
G. James B. with, my God, it's full of ads.
Yeah.
TV is a flat circle from X1011. I like that one.
A bundle of annoy from Sir ATW.
A hotspot is satellite for fire.
Hey, yeah. That was a roller coaster ride of emotions. That one.
Yep.
Yeah. Daily Meta News Show. Rogers best of CES 2025. I like that one. That's a good one. What did we go with, Sarah?
Well,
sorry.
We went with you've made your thread, now lie on it. That
Yes.
was from Batfink
Yay.
2001.
Thank you, Batfink 2001. Also, big thanks to everyone watching on YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn. We also stream to LinkedIn Live every day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Laminar Rainbow gave us a sticker, a super sticker, on YouTube. Thank you, Laminar Rainbow. One of the regular givers of super stickers for us. We don't have a lot of them, but we appreciate them very much. Thank you very much, Laminar Rainbow. Got a lot of folks supporting us on Twitch. Always good to see bits from Zoe Brings Bacon, Technomensch, our own Twitch producer, Theater Monkey. It always entertains me when he resubscribes with Prime. Doesn't cost him anything. Puts some money in his own pocket. 64 months. Razin resubscribed for the 37th month. Thank you, everybody. BioCow. Did we get BioCow subscribing at Tier 1 for the 67th month yesterday? Because he deserves a shout-out for that as well. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening.
If you want to learn how data sets help shape the world that you live in, listen to Behind the Data, hosted by data scientist Andrea Jones-Roy. The show examines why data sets, what they say about what's happening in our world, in politics and health, and why. The first season finished last month, but season 2 will start soon, so check it out at behinddatashow.com.
Send in your comments to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
We are going to be back tomorrow doing it all again. Watch us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 2100 UTC, and you can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. Stay safe,
I won't
everyone.
be here anymore then, but see you tomorrow.
Tom's going to be back in LA. Woo.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.